Ladies and gentlemen, I did not come to impress you. I did not come to entertain you. I came to tell the truth. There was a time when I stood on the other side of the altar, a time when darkness was not something I feared, but something I served. I knew the rituals, I knew the chants, I knew the seasons and the sacrifices. And yes, I knew how witches react when believers fast. Fasting made us cautious. Fasting made us alert. But there was one thing, one spiritual act that made us retreat in fear. And it was not fasting. It was prayer grounded in the authority of the name of Jesus Christ. You see, fasting weakens the flesh, but authority shakes the unseen realm. When people fasted without understanding who they were praying to, we watched. When they fasted in fear, we waited. When they fasted trying to earn power, we smiled. But when someone prayed, not begging, not chanting, not repeating empty words, when someone prayed knowing their authority, everything changed. The prayer which is fear most is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is not complicated. It is the prayer that says, I stand in the name of Jesus Christ, covered by his blood, sealed by his authority, and I command every work of darkness to leave. That prayer carries weight. Why? Because darkness understands hierarchy. Darkness understands authority. Darkness knows the difference between religious effort and spiritual power. We were trained to monitor fasts, but when that prayer was spoken with faith, our assignments failed, altars went silent, plans collapsed, doors we had opened were suddenly shut, not because of the length of the fast, but because of the authority behind the prayer. Let me be clear, fasting is powerful. Discipline matters. Sacrifice has its place. But fasting without prayer is hunger. And prayer without authority is noise. The prayer which is fear is the prayer that reminds them they are already defeated. So today, I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. You don't need to shout at darkness. You don't need to fear the night. You don't need to starve yourself to be heard. You need to stand. You need to know, and you need to pray. Not as a victim, but as someone who understands the power of the name they speak. Because when that prayer is spoken, darkness doesn't argue, it leaves. Authority in prayer is more powerful than fasting alone, because authority does not come from human effort, but from spiritual position. Fasting is something you do with your body. Authority is something you carry in your spirit. When a person fasts, they discipline the flesh, quiet distractions, and focus the mind. That is valuable. But fasting by itself does not automatically confront darkness. Darkness is not impressed by hunger, time, or sacrifice. It recognizes power, rank, and command. Authority is what gives prayer weight in the spiritual realm. Authority in prayer means understanding who you are praying through and where you are standing spiritually. When someone prays without authority, their words may be sincere, emotional, even desperate, but they sound like requests. When someone prays with authority, their words sound like commands. Darkness understands commands. It understands boundaries. It understands when a voice is backed by a higher power. That is why witches fear authoritative prayer more than fasting. Fasting makes a believer serious, but authority makes a believer dangerous to darkness. Many people believe that the longer they fast, the stronger their prayer becomes. But strength in prayer does not come from duration, it comes from alignment. A short prayer spoken with spiritual authority can accomplish more than days of fasting spoken in fear or uncertainty. Authority is rooted in relationship, not performance. It flows from knowing whose name you carry, whose power you represent, and whose victory you are enforcing. When prayer is spoken from that place, it does not negotiate with darkness. It enforces a decision that has already been made. Darkness operates on legal grounds. It looks for permission, ignorance, fear, and confusion. Fasting does not automatically remove those things. Authority does. When a person prays with authority, they are not asking darkness to leave. They are declaring that it has no right to stay. That declaration shifts the atmosphere immediately. Plans that were operating in secrecy lose access. Influence weakens. Assignments collapse. Not because the person prayed louder, but because they prayed from a higher position. Authority also brings clarity. When someone understands their authority, their prayer becomes focused and direct. There is no panic, no chasing symptoms, no emotional struggle. There is confidence. That confidence is not arrogance, it is alignment with a higher power. Darkness recognizes that confidence instantly. It knows when a person is unsure, and it knows when a person is standing on solid spiritual ground. Fasting can sharpen awareness, but authority determines outcome. Another reason authority in prayer is feared more than fasting is because it does not depend on conditions. You can pray with authority whether you are fasting or not, whether it is day or night, whether you feel strong or weak. Authority does not fluctuate with emotions or physical state. It is constant because it is not self-generated. That consistency makes it threatening to darkness. There is no waiting period, no build-up, no warning. The moment authority is exercised, the spiritual response follows. Fasting prepares the vessel, but authority releases the power. Without authority, fasting becomes preparation without action. With authority, even a simple prayer becomes a decisive act. This is why witches fear authority-based prayer more than fasting. Fasting signals intention, but authority executes judgment. Fasting shows devotion, but authority enforces boundaries. When authority is present, darkness does not test limits, it withdraws. In the end, authority in prayer is powerful because it reminds the unseen realm of an unchangeable truth. Darkness is already defeated. Fasting may challenge it, but authority concludes the matter. Darkness responds to spiritual authority, not religious effort, because the unseen realm operates on laws, ranks, and recognition rather than emotion or activity. Religious effort is visible to people, but authority is visible to the spiritual realm. A person can pray for hours, fast for days, and perform many spiritual actions, yet still struggle because effort alone does not equal power. Darkness is not persuaded by how much someone does. It is confronted by who someone represents. Religious effort often comes from a place of fear or uncertainty. People try to do more because they believe more activity will produce results. They repeat prayers, increase fasting, add rituals, or copy methods they have seen others use. While these actions may look spiritual, darkness recognizes when they are driven by anxiety rather than authority. Effort tries to earn a result, authority enforces one. That difference is immediately noticeable in the spiritual realm. Spiritual authority functions like a legal mandate. When someone speaks with authority, they are not hoping for change, they are declaring what is already established by a higher power. Darkness understands legality. It knows when a person has the right to speak and when they do not. That is why prayers rooted in authority are brief, calm, and direct. They do not argue or explain. They state what must happen. Religious effort, on the other hand, often sounds like pleading, bargaining, or repetition without certainty. One of the greatest weaknesses of religious effort is that it focuses on the self. The person measures success by how tired they are, how long they prayed, or how much they sacrificed. Authority removes the focus from the self and places it on the source of power. When prayer is centered on personal effort, it becomes unstable. When prayer is centered on authority, it becomes firm. Darkness exploits instability, but it avoids firmness. Another reason darkness ignores religious effort is because effort can be imitated. Anyone can fast. Anyone can repeat words. Anyone can perform outward spiritual acts. Authority cannot be imitated. It is either present or it is not. It comes from alignment, not performance. That is why two people can pray the same words and get different results. One is reciting, the other is enforcing. Darkness responds only to the one enforcing. Religious effort also tends to exhaust the believer. When results do not come quickly, frustration increases, doubt grows, and fear returns. This cycle weakens confidence and creates openings for oppression. Authority, however, produces rest even in confrontation. When a person knows their authority, they are not emotionally shaken by resistance. They understand that resistance does not mean failure. It means a boundary is being enforced. That calm confidence signals strength in the spiritual realm. Darkness is strategic. It studies patterns. It recognizes when someone is trying to fight from a lower position. Religious effort fights upward, hoping to reach power. Authority speaks downward, commanding what is beneath it. This is why authority-based prayer shifts atmospheres instantly. There is no struggle because the position is already established. Darkness does not debate. Hierarchy, it submits to it. When believers rely only on effort, they often believe power comes later, after more prayer, more fasting, more work. Authority operates now. It does not delay. It does not build momentum. It acts from a completed victory. That immediacy is what makes authority feared. Darkness can wait out effort. It cannot wait out authority. Ultimately, darkness responds to spiritual authority because authority represents alignment with an unchangeable source of power. Religious effort fades, tires, and varies. Authority remains steady, clear, and decisive. When authority speaks, darkness does not test sincerity or endurance. It recognizes command and withdraws. If this message brought clarity, share it. Someone needs to know this before they sleep tonight.